The courtroom was quiet, the kind of silence that feels heavy, like everyone inside already knows something major is about to happen. Martell Holt walked in wearing that familiar confidence, the same posture he's carried for years. But this time, something was different. The smiles were tight. The energy wasn't the same. And sitting just a few feet away, Melody Shari looked calm, too calm, almost like a woman who already knew how this story would end. When the judge entered, you could feel the tension in the room shift. Every eye turned forward, waiting. Martell adjusted his suit, maybe trying to remind himself that he still had control. But in that moment, control wasn't his to hold anymore. For a long time, Martell has tried to frame the narrative, talking loudly, posting confidently, and doing interviews that painted him as the misunderstood father who just wanted his family back. But this time, his words didn't seem to carry the same power. The judge didn't want excuses, didn't want another round of back and forth blame. The judge wanted accountability. And when that word came up, the air got thick. Melody didn't flinch. She sat there composed, letting the process unfold without a single outburst, without a single attempt to interrupt. And that, right there, was the moment people watching from the sidelines realized Melody had already won long before the gavel hit the desk. Reports say the judge made it very clear, enough was enough. The constant chaos, the public arguments, the social media battles, they had reached a point where the children's peace mattered more than anyone's pride. And in that moment, Martell was told something that cut deeper than any argument. He was temporarily barred from seeing the kids until further notice. It wasn't a punishment, it was a protection, a pause. A message that actions have consequences. People in the courtroom said you could see the shock on his face. The same man who once boasted about control and power suddenly looked speechless. Because for once, he wasn't the one calling the shots. And Melody, she didn't gloat. She didn't even smile. She simply took a breath, a deep one, stood up, and walked out. Victorious not because she defeated him, but because she chose peace. That walk, quiet, powerful, and steady, was symbolic. It wasn't about winning a case, it was about reclaiming her narrative. For years, Melody has had to defend herself against whispers, against blame, against rumors spread by the very person who promised to protect her. But now, she doesn't have to say anything at all. The truth spoke for itself in that courtroom. People online are saying this was the moment Huntsville shifted, that this wasn't just a legal decision, it was a mirror moment. Martell finally had to face the reflection of every decision he'd made, every bridge he burned, and every time he mistook volume for value. Because when you strip away the fame, the TV lights, and the comment section, what's left is a man and a woman who once built a life together. And now, one of them is building peace, while the other is trying to rebuild his reputation. Those who have been watching from the start remember how much potential they had. Melody and Martell weren't just a couple, they were a brand. They were love, ambition, and vision all rolled into one. But success without respect is like a mansion built on sand. The moment the storm comes, everything crumbles. And that storm came, not in one day, but over years, through cheating scandals, explosive arguments, and moments that played out for millions to see. Melody endured humiliation publicly, yet she never let bitterness define her. Instead, she turned her pain into purpose, her heartbreak into hustle. And that's what makes this moment hit harder, because this wasn't revenge. This was restoration. The judge's decision didn't come out of nowhere. Insiders say there were concerns, not just about conflict, but about environment, stability, and emotional safety. And when it comes to children, the court's first priority is always their well-being. That's something Melody has emphasized again and again. It's not about hate, it's about healing. It's about protecting the next generation from cycles that repeat when accountability is ignored. Still, the internet is divided. Some believe Martell deserves another chance. Others think he's had too many already. But what's undeniable is that the public's perception of him has shifted. The once confident TV star now seems like a man fighting shadows, battling to prove that he's changed, that he's misunderstood, that the world has painted him unfairly. But perception is earned, not given. And people can only judge what they see, and what they've seen over and over is a pattern. A cycle of blame, deflection, and denial that no longer fits the image of a man claiming growth. Meanwhile, Melody's silence has become her loudest message. She doesn't need to clap back. Her peace speaks louder than any post ever could. Fans say she's glowing different now, not because everything is perfect, but because she stopped letting chaos write her story. Every move she makes now feels intentional. From her projects to her parenting, Melody is in her quiet power era, the kind where you don't announce your wins, you just live them. And for the first time in a long time, people are seeing her not as the ex-wife of Martell Holt, but as Melody Shari, the woman, the mother, the brand, the survivor. Martell, on the other hand, seems caught between regret and pride. He's posted things that sound like reflections, but then turns around and says things that keep the drama alive. It's almost like he doesn't know whether to apologize or defend himself, and that confusion shows. The audience can feel it. They've seen it before, that struggle between image and reality, between who you were and who you're trying to be. But the thing about karma is that it doesn't rush, it waits. And when it arrives, it doesn't come to destroy, it comes to teach. Maybe that's what this is for Martell. A lesson wrapped in loss. A pause designed for reflection. Because every empire built on ego eventually learns that humility is the only real foundation that lasts. The same fans who once rooted for him now find themselves saying, "We just hope he gets it together for his kids." That's what it's come down to. Not fame, not pride, not who's right or wrong, but the kids. Because at the end of the day, they're the ones who feel every ounce of the tension that adults think they're hiding. Melody supporters have flooded social media with messages of encouragement, saying she deserves peace after all she's been through. They've watched her transform pain into strength, and they're protective of her progress because they know what it costs to heal in public, to be misunderstood, mocked, and picked apart, all while trying to keep your sanity intact. And yet, Melody keeps choosing grace. She doesn't bash him, she doesn't retaliate, she just moves forward. That kind of strength scares people who live off control, because when you stop reacting, you take away their power. Sources close to the situation say Melody's main focus now is stability, not just financially, but emotionally. She wants her kids to feel safe, loved, and unbothered by adult problems, and that's something everyone can respect. Meanwhile, Martell's circle has reportedly been shrinking. The same people who once hyped him up are now distancing themselves from the controversy. That's how it usually goes. When the spotlight gets too hot, people start stepping back. It's not that Martell is beyond redemption. It's that redemption requires real change. Not just apologies, but consistency. Not just words, but new habits. And that takes time. Time away from the cameras, away from the headlines, away from the ego. Maybe this courtroom outcome was never about punishment. Maybe it was the universe forcing a reset. Because sometimes you don't realize how far off track you've gone until someone hits pause on your chaos. And that's exactly what this moment feels like. A pause, a reset, a chance for both of them to move differently. But make no mistake, this wasn't an easy win for Melody. This was years of pain, years of fighting quietly, years of holding herself together while the world watched her break. So when people say she walked out victorious, it's not just about custody or control, it's about freedom. Freedom from manipulation, freedom from blame, freedom from a cycle